The year was 2025. It was a Thursday night. The date was August 7th. Outside, the city was quiet. A light rain tapped against Daniel's window. He was scrolling through his phone, bored. He wasn't looking for anything specific, just passing the time. He tapped on his old voicemail app. He rarely checked it. But tonight, something felt different. An energy in the room, a strange pull towards the old messages. He saw a file he had never seen before. It was dated years ago, but he knew he had never listened to it. It felt impossible. A glitch, a ripple in reality. He stared at the screen. The message was from a number he didn't recognize, an unknown caller. The date on the voicemail was from the past, but the recording itself seemed new, yet ancient. A cold feeling washed over him. It was a feeling of dread, of something paranormal. He felt a presence in the room with him. He was alone, but it didn't feel that way. The air grew heavy. The silence in his apartment became loud. He took a deep breath. His heart was pounding in his chest. A sense of unease settled deep in his soul. He had to know what was on that recording. Why was this message here? How had he missed it for so long? These questions echoed in his mind. He couldn't explain it. It was an anomaly, a piece of data that shouldn't exist. He felt like he was on the edge of a great mystery, something that would change everything he thought he knew about the world. The rain outside seemed to get heavier. The tapping on his window sounded like fingers. He felt a chill run down his spine. He knew, without a doubt, that opening this message was a critical moment, a turning point. He just didn't know why. His finger hovered over the play button. A part of him wanted to delete it, to ignore the strange feeling it gave him, to just go back to his normal life. But another part, a much stronger part, was curious. It was the part of him that looked for answers, the part that wanted to understand the unexplained. He felt a powerful force compelling him to listen. It was as if a spirit was guiding his hand. He closed his eyes, took one last breath, and pressed play. The silence was broken by a strange, crackling sound from his phone's speaker. A voice was about to speak from the past. The voice that came from the speaker was distorted. It was staticky, broken. It sounded like it was traveling across an impossible distance. Across time itself, it was a man's voice. It was calm, but urgent. It was a voice filled with a strange, otherworldly knowledge. "Daniel," the voice said, his name echoing as if from a deep well. "Listen to me very carefully. This is important. You cannot get on Flight 815. I repeat, do not take Flight 815 on August 7th, 2025. Your life depends on it." The message was short. It was direct. And it was terrifying. It felt like a direct communication from another dimension. Daniel's blood ran cold. August 7th, 2025. That was today, right now. He looked at his calendar. Then he looked at the airline ticket confirmation in his email. He was booked on a flight for a business trip. He checked the flight number. It was Flight 815. A wave of disbelief and raw fear hit him. This was not a coincidence. This was something else. Something he could not comprehend. How could this be possible? Who sent this message? How did they know his name, his flight number, and the exact date? It was a message that defied all logic. He played the message again and again. The static crackled. The voice remained the same, calm, certain, and utterly mysterious. It was a warning from an unknown entity, a ghost in the machine. He tried to call the number back, but it was disconnected. It didn't exist. He searched for it online, but found nothing. No records. No owner. It was a ghost number. A phantom communication. The message was an island, cut off from any explanation. It was a raw piece of evidence of something beyond our understanding. Something that was trying to reach him. The warning felt ancient, yet it was about his immediate future. It was a paradox that twisted his mind. He felt a strange sense of fate, as if his life was a path already laid out, and this message was a signpost, a warning from someone, or something, that could see the path ahead. He was standing at a crossroads. One path led to the airport, to Flight 815, to logic and reason. The other path led into the unknown, trusting a voice from a digital void. The weight of the decision was immense. He felt the presence in the room again, watching him, waiting for him to choose. Years passed. Life moved on. The memory of the voicemail faded. It became like a strange dream. Daniel never took that flight in 2025. He had canceled it, making up an excuse about being sick. He felt foolish doing it. He had lost money on the ticket, but he couldn't shake the feeling of dread. Nothing happened. The flight landed safely. He felt relieved, but also embarrassed. He had let a weird glitch, a prank call, control his life. He deleted the voicemail and tried to forget. He buried the memory deep, convincing himself it was nothing, just a bizarre, random event. Then, in 2032, 7 years after he first heard the message, he was booking another trip. It was for a vacation this time. He was going through the airline website, picking his seats. He found a flight that worked perfectly with his schedule. He entered his payment information and clicked confirm. The confirmation page loaded, and there it was, the flight number. Flight 815, the same airline, the same number. The sight of it sent an electric shock through him. All the feelings from that night came rushing back. The fear, the mystery, the cold presence in his apartment. It was happening again. He stared at the screen, his heart pounding. It couldn't be a coincidence. Not again. It felt like a test, a final warning. The universe was sending him the same signal. The dates were different, but the core elements were the same. It was Flight 815. The name echoed in his mind, just like the voice from the voicemail. He remembered the static, the calm, urgent tone. Do not take Flight 815. The warning was no longer a distant, hazy memory. It was crystal clear. It was a vivid, terrifying premonition that was now tied to his immediate future. He felt a deep, unsettling sense of déjà vu. He was back at that same crossroads. Should he listen to the ghost in the machine, or should he dismiss it as a strange coincidence? His rational mind told him it was crazy. It was just a number. Flights are numbered sequentially. But his soul, his intuition, screamed at him. It screamed that this was a pattern, a sign. The mysterious message from years ago was not about that specific day in 2025. It was about the flight itself. The entity on that recording was trying to save him, and this was his final chance to listen. The day of the flight arrived. Daniel was a nervous wreck. He spent the morning pacing his apartment. He looked at his packed bags. He looked at the clock. Every tick felt like a step closer to doom. He had to make a choice. Trust logic, or trust the impossible. In the end, the fear was too strong. The memory of that voice was too powerful. He called the airline. He canceled his ticket. He felt a wave of relief wash over him. Even though he knew he might be acting on a delusion, he decided to stay home. He turned on the news, his hands shaking, and waited. Hours later, a breaking news alert flashed across the screen. His blood turned to ice. A passenger plane had gone down. The reporter's voice was grim. "We have unconfirmed reports," she said, "that Flight 815 from this city has crashed shortly after takeoff. There are no known survivors at this time." Daniel dropped his phone. He stared at the television screen in total shock. The images showed smoke rising in the distance. It was real. The warning was real. The voice had saved his life. He was alive because of a mysterious, impossible voicemail from the past. A profound, chilling realization settled over him. He was supposed to be on that plane. He was supposed to be a name on a list of victims. But something had intervened. Some unknown force had reached across time and space to warn him. He felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude, but also a deep and abiding fear. Who had sent the message? How was it possible? He grabbed his old phone, the one from 2025, and frantically searched for the voicemail. He had deleted it years ago, but he hoped it was in the trash folder. It was gone, vanished, as if it had never existed. Daniel never found any answers. The mystery remained a permanent shadow in his life. He spent years searching for explanations. He looked into time travel theories, paranormal communication, anything that could explain the impossible. But he found nothing. The voice, the warning, the number, they were all gone, leaving only the memory and the chilling fact of his survival. He was living on borrowed time, saved by a ghost in the machine. He was forever grateful and forever haunted by the mysterious voicemail that had reached out from nowhere to save his life.